Charmander, no. It's not Joker from Batman. It's Joker from Persona 5. No, I have no idea what this means, Charmander. I am not entirely sure, so that's why we're going to reevaluate our predictions for the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC. Welcome everyone, this is AndresRestart, and we're going to be updating our actual predictions for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's DLC. So a day after the Smash Bros. Direct, we actually came out with our predictions for the Fighters Pass, but since then, we've gotten a lot of new information. Sakurai tweeted out that Nintendo picked a lot of the DLC characters, or actually all of them, and Sakurai just kind of approved the ones that you would think would make sense for Smash Brothers. So that kind of tells me that all of these characters that are going to be the DLC are characters that make sense for Nintendo from a business perspective. So maybe this means that a lot of these characters are going to actually have a game from their franchise come out for the Nintendo Switch in the not so distant future, or at least something along those lines. And that brings me to the next thing that we sort of learned, and that's that Joker from Persona 5 is going to be the first challenger in the Fighters Pass. And Joker is kind of a character that no one saw coming. He's not really represented on the Switch at all, and it's kind of a big deal, and in some way that kind of helps out Sony. So it's kind of crazy that Joker from Persona 5 is going to be the first challenger, but nevertheless, I think that kind of opens up the door for a whole bunch of other characters, and that definitely has reshaped my predictions. Now, there's actually one more detail that has come out since the Game Awards, and that was actually Reggie's interview with Jeff Keighley at the Game Awards, and I'll just kind of play it.
These are going to be characters that are new to the series, just like Joker from Persona 5, yes. Characters that you would not anticipate to be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
So from that, a lot of people have interpreted that all of the DLC characters are going to be third-party characters. I don't think that's the case. I think a lot of them are going to be third-party characters, don't get me wrong, but really what I think it's saying here is that whatever character we see in the Challengers Pass are going to be characters that are currently not represented at all in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So that's why I no longer think that characters like Geno, or Elma, or Dixie Kong, or Rayman aren't going to be in the Fighters Pass, because they all currently are spirits in the game, and while I don't want to say that spirits themselves just deconfirm you as a potential DLC character, I think considering what Reggie said, it does deconfirm them for the first season of the Fighters Pass. But I do think there will be a second season. So, you know, if you're hoping for Rex and Pyra, or Rayman, or Geno, I think in 2020 or 2021 we could maybe see them. But for these next 4 characters, I don't think they're going to make it in. So then who can maybe make it in? Well, there's a lot of potential crazy characters, perhaps maybe like Doom guy from Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal is coming out on the Nintendo Switch next year. That kind of makes sense. Maybe Sub-Zero or Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. That's coming out on the Nintendo Switch in 2019. That makes sense. There's a rumored Spyro game coming, so maybe Spyro could be a DLC character. Maybe Crash. There's a Crash racing game coming to the Switch. All of these characters are kind of crazy, but since we've gotten Joker, I don't think any of them are out of the question. But none of these characters I actually think are going to be a part of the Fighters Pass, but if they were, I'd be really excited about it. But these are my actual predictions. So first off, I'm going to go with one that's coming from Nintendo, and that is Sylux from Metroid Prime 4. I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be a holiday 2019 game, and I think Nintendo is going to want to support Metroid Prime 4 with an actual DLC character, and I think that character is going to be Sylux, who we know is going to play a big role in Metroid Prime 4, so it kind of all makes a lot of sense, especially since there currently is no spirit whatsoever for Sylux in Smash Ultimate, which to me is very peculiar, because there is pretty much a spirit for like almost everything. Like, there's some really obscure spirits in the game, and Sylux just isn't that obscure, so because he's missing, it's a little peculiar, so it wouldn't shock me if Sylux is an actual DLC character to help bolster sales for Metroid Prime 4. So yeah, I think Sylux is probably going to be one of the DLC characters coming for this pass. So now I'm going to move on to a potential third-party character. Now, we know that currently there's barely any Square Enix content in the game. We just have like Cloud, a couple songs, and a stage, and I think like a spirit for Geno and Mallow from Mario RPG, and that's it. There's like nothing else. There's nothing else in the game, so I'm thinking that we're going to get a Square DLC character, and with that Challenger Pack, we're going to get a lot more Square Enix content. So what Square Enix character could it be? Could it maybe be Chrono from Chrono Trigger? Maybe there's a Chrono Trigger remake on the works? That would be really cool. I guess Geno still technically has a chance, but like I said beforehand, he's technically not new to the series. He has his spirit in the game. game, so I'm thinking that if Geno ever makes it into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, it's going to be a part of another Fighter's Pass, not this current one. So basically the character I'm sort of rolling with here is actually a Dragon Quest character. We know the Dragon Quest 11 S is coming to the Nintendo Switch, so maybe that game's finally going to come out in 2019. So what better way to support the Dragon Quest game than by releasing an actual Dragon Quest DLC character? Currently, there's a lot of rumors going around about it maybe being Erdrick from Dragon Quest 3. That makes a lot of sense, and at the same time, it will be really cool to see an Akira Toriyama design in Super Smash Bros. So if you don't know who that is the creator of Dragon Ball, who's also had a hand in a lot of the art and illustrations in Dragon Quest. But a lot of people want Goku in Super Smash Bros. But that's not going to happen, let's face it, that's not happening. But the next closest thing could be a Dragon Quest character, so maybe these rumors are correct, or maybe it's just a lucky guess, or we're going to get a Dragon Quest character like Erdrick in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And I just want to put this out as an honorable mention. Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out next year, and a lot of people want Sora to be in the game, so maybe he could be the Square Enix rep. That's a possibility, especially if Kingdom Hearts is announced for the Nintendo Switch. But I would say it's more likely they're going to get a Dragon Quest game in 2019, so if I have to hedge my bets, I would say it's more reasonable to expect a Dragon Quest character as a DLC character for Smash Bros. Ultimate as opposed to Sora. But after seeing Joker, anything is possible, but I'm placing my money on a Dragon Quest character. Now for this next character, I think some of you may find yourselves a little confused about the choice, but I'm just kind of rolling with my gut here, so you know, bear with me. But it's definitely not a Fire Emblem Three Houses character. I know some of you may expect that because Nintendo just loves adding Fire Emblem characters to bolster sales for the series, but I don't think they're going to do this time around. I think it's too expected for Nintendo. I think they're not going to do it. I think they're going to kind of read the room and realize that adding another Fire Emblem character just isn't going to really do much for them. But I think they are going to add a Pokemon. I think there's going to be a Generation 8 Pokemon for the DLC. I think it's going to be a new, interesting character. It's going to be different, and I think people are actually going to really like it once they finally see it. Pokemon Generation 8 is coming for the Nintendo Switch in 2019, so I think it kind of makes sense, like a lot, in terms of for Nintendo, for business reasons. So I think that's what's going to happen, guys. Yep. Now for the final character, this is the one character from my previous predictions that I did not change, and I still think that's going to happen, and that's Banjo and Kazooie. Now, do I think there's going to be an actual Banjo and Kazooie game coming out for the Nintendo Switch? I don't know about that. I mean, maybe the N64 Classic will happen, and maybe we'll get Banjo-Kazooie in that, or maybe we'll get some sort of rare games on a virtual console or something like that on the Nintendo Switch eShop. That's pretty much the extent of what I expect in terms of games from Banjo-Kazooie, but I still think it's happening, mainly because there's a huge history there with Nintendo, and on top of that, in the actual data for Smash Brothers, there are two spirits that aren't used, but they are in the data for the game, and that's Blast Core and Jet Force Gemini, two Rare-owned IP. So why would Nintendo have Rare-owned IP in the data for Smash Brothers? Perhaps because they are working with Rare to get some Rare content in the game, and if Rare is actually in the fold here, I think the one character that makes the absolute 100% most sense is Banjo and Kazooie. So, yeah, Banjo-Kazooie is the only prediction that I've made that I think is still going to be in the game this time around. And those are my predictions. Banjo and Kazooie, Sylex from Metro Prime 4, a Generation 8 Pokemon, and let's just say, to put a name to it, Erdrick from Dragon Quest, but it could maybe be any other Dragon Quest character. And that's what I'm thinking is going to be the DLC this time around. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is the case, or do you think it's going to be something entirely different? Let me know in the comments below. But anyways, everyone, thank you so much for listening and watching. I'd really appreciate it if you were to subscribe. If you're new here, make sure to hit that notification bell. And, well, that's it. I'll see you all really soon. Bye.